faithfully delivering value by interpreting great books from around the world. I am Sally, and this is Book Talk. Today, we're diving into a book called Grooming, Gossip, and the Evolution of Language. First off, let's break down this complex title. Grooming means monkeys grooming each other, and gossip is all about human chit chat. So, what's the link between monkeys grooming and humans gossiping? And how does language evolution tie into gossip? How does gossip influence our daily relationships, work productivity, and how we behave? If these questions pique your interest, you've got to check out this book, Grooming, Gossip, and the Evolution of Language. All right, to keep it simple, we'll call this book Grooming. The author is Robin Dunbar, and you might not be familiar with him, but bring up Dunbar's number, and a lot more folks will recognize it. Dunbar's number is, well, a number. In simple terms, it's about how many people we can keep up with, around 150 acquaintances. Dunbar's number is also known as the rule of 150. Lately, thanks to folks like WeChat's creator John Xiaolong, Dunbar's number has gotten pretty well known. Oh, especially in social startup circles, Dunbar's number is practically a household name. But most folks heard about Dunbar's number through the book Sapiens. That's because Zhang Xiaolong brought it up while pitching Sapiens. But the inventor of Dunbar's number isn't Yuval Harari, it's actually Robin Dunbar, a professor of evolutionary psychology at Oxford University. Professor Robin Dunbar is a heavyweight in modern evolutionary psych, and he heads research at Oxford's Magdalen College. Fun fact, Magdalen College is Oxford's top academic powerhouse. In Grooming, Dunbar dives into how monkeys grooming, human gossip, and language evolution are linked. Plus, he covers Dunbar's number and why it exists. So, if you want to get Dunbar's number, you got to hear this book. This book clocks in at 200,000 words, touching on history, archaeology, psychology, medical linguistics. It's packed with insights, easy to follow, and a real masterwork. Plus, Dunbar points out tons of cool stuff and why it happens. A lot of its analysis might go beyond our current understanding. For example, monkeys grooming each other isn't just about cleaning themselves. It's about building connections, finding allies. The real purpose of human language evolution was actually for gossiping. And today we feel lonely, empty, and cold because our social circles fall far short of 150 people and so on. All right, let's start with Dunbar's number, beginning with monkey grooming, and explore through 4 aspects how our language evolved and how that evolution shapes our interactions. First point, why can you only have up to 150 friends, and how's that related to monkey grooming? Second point, why did humans replace grooming with gossip? Third, how does Dunbar's number silently influence your work and life? And fourth, why wouldn't dialects exist without Dunbar's number? Now back to the first question, why can you only have up to 150 friends? How is that related to monkey grooming? Many folks might doubt this number 150 because today's social networks are super advanced and we meet tons of people in a lifetime. Some might even say, oh, 800 people showed up at my wedding, way over 150. Dunbar's 150 means people you not only know, but also understand their ties to your other friends. Definitely not 800. In reality, understanding someone often requires seeing them in specific social contexts. If you just know them but have no clue about their social circle, you can hardly be friends because real friends usually introduce you to their pals. So Dunbar gave an analogy. You're alone at a bar, drinking, see someone you know, and if you instantly sit together, chatting and laughing, that person's on your 150 list. But if you just say hi and go back to drinking solo or hunting for others, then that person ain't on the 150 list. So how did Dunbar discover the rule of 150? We got to start with monkeys because Dunbar, as an evolutionary psychologist, studies not just humans, but also primates like monkeys, chimps, and baboons. While observing monkeys' behaviors, Dunbar noticed some fascinating patterns. For instance, when a monkey lives alone, it faces greater dangers and has a shorter lifespan. But when it joins a troop, it becomes safer and lives longer. Well, the reason's simple. In human terms, it's about sharing both fortune and hardship. But joining a troop doesn't automatically mean sharing fortune and hardship. Actually, some members might steal your food, take your spot, or kick you when you're down. Monkeys are just as good at that as humans. So, to truly belong in a troop, a monkey must build its own alliances. Plain and simple, you need friends and ride or die pals. In monkey troops, making friends is super simple. Grooming. Studies show monkeys groom hard to reach spots for each other, keeping themselves clean. But more importantly, grooming relaxes monkeys, slowing their heart rate. Sometimes they even doze off. Medically, grooming triggers endorphins, natural opioids that create mild anesthesia. So this gentle buzz gets monkeys hooked. But grooming's not the goal. Forming alliances is. In reality, only monkeys with long-term bonds groom each other, becoming natural allies. Where's the food? What dangers lurk and how to deal with the alpha? Crucial survival info like that, only your grooming buddies will tell you. So now we know why monkeys groom, but how's that tied to the rule of 150? Uh, well, Dunbar's team also studied other primates like baboons and chimpanzees. They found these primates also use grooming to make friends. But here's the thing. They all spend similar time grooming, about 20% of their day, 4 to 5 hours, besides sleeping and hunting. But primate group sizes vary. Monkey troops average 35, while chimpanzee groups hit around 55. Scientists realized building relationships and alliances takes serious brain power. Larger communities mean more complex social ties, more allies to make, more relationships to manage, all demanding greater cognitive processing. Dunbar's team collected data on average group sizes and neocortex sizes from 24 species. Plotting this data revealed grooming-based group sizes tightly correlate with neocortex area. The neocortex handles conscious thinking and reasoning. Simply put, bigger neocortex equals larger grooming circles. Adding human data showed our social circle size, 148, crazy close to 150. But Dunbar's first move, verify. How? Did into data, especially anthropological studies, to test his theory. Turns out his math was spot on. For instance, Neolithic villages held 150 to 200 people. 1,000 years ago, English villages averaged 150. Same for modern plantation villages in Indonesia, Philippines, and South America. Dunbar also found groups over 150 inevitably split. Our brains can only juggle so many social connections. Imagine ancient Chinese families. Knowing everyone in huge clans was impossible. You'd need to track in-laws, their kids, second cousins, uncles by marriage at gatherings, not just getting generations right, but navigating tensions between sisters-in-law and brothers-in-law, or matriarch, young wife conflicts. So when a family gets too big, it splits to simplify relationships. Only then can family members free up time for other things. Take armies. The smallest unit, a company, stays around 150 soldiers. How many soldiers should form a combat unit, living and fighting together? Too few means weaker combat power. Too many, and soldiers can't coordinate, might even shoot allies by mistake. After centuries of trial, commanders found units over 200 can't bond well enough to fight together. That's why 224 companies stayed near 170 and Chinese units around 150. All right, let's wrap up this first point. The rule of 150 isn't about how many people we know, but our circle of close acquaintances. Our brain's neocortex size caps us at 150 meaningful relationships. That's all we can handle. That's it. After learning about Dunbar's number, you might wonder, but we don't groom anymore. Ah, true, we talk now. But we evolved something else to replace grooming. Gossip, which everyone loves. Now to our second question. Why did humans swap grooming for gossip? To answer this, We first need to connect language and grooming. Earlier, we mentioned humans have much larger neocortices than monkeys or apes. That's why human communities dwarf those of other primates. So, why do humans have bigger neocortices? Apes and monkeys didn't start with huge brain differences, it was subtle. But around 10 million years ago, climate change shrank forests, pushing our ape ancestors onto grasslands. Forests and grasslands are totally different. Forests have abundant food and hiding spots, while grasslands have more predators and fewer hiding places, instantly ramping up survival risks and forcing apes to adapt. The most obvious change: apes gradually learned to walk upright. Oh, and that has tons of benefits, like expanding their field of view, catching more breeze to sweat less, conserving energy, but survival threats grew too. This also meant apes needed larger groups to tackle bigger risks. Only bigger groups could fend off lions, wolves, and other now extinct predators. As we said earlier, bigger groups create coordination problems. That pushed apes to evolve smarter brains for efficient socializing and stronger alliances. So, group expansion and brain evolution became a chicken and egg cycle, each fueling the other. Our ancestors' near extinction escapes prove that even terrifying dangers, if we overcome them as a species, lead to what philosopher Nietzsche described: what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But no evolution is perfect. Each leaves scars. Human heads became enormous, and this evolutionary scar made every human a natural premature baby. Yet being born premature accidentally boosted language evolution. How exactly did that happen? Let's continue, starting with humans as natural preemies. Take everyday mammals we know: horses, cows, sheep. They stand minutes or hours after birth and become independent in months or years. But humans, upright walking narrowed pelvises, making birth canals tighter, so babies must exit before fully developed. Any bigger and they couldn't be born. That's why human infants take a year just to walk. And even then, it's wobbly and unsteady. To be self reliant and live independently, one needs to be at least 12 years old. So, if a woman relies solely on herself after childbirth, raising the kid is impossible. Postpartum women are often weak. Both mom and baby need care, let alone, foraging for food and raising the child for over a decade. That's just not feasible. For humans to successfully reproduce, women can't just want sperm, they need men willing and able to provide. A handsome guy who sleeps around but skips child support, that kind of man often gets beaten up by women or their families. To wait out those playboys and collectively pressure men into providing long term and to help each other care for kids, women formed alliances. Scientists found women excel at social alliances, like advocating for same sex friends. Women more readily empathize and share others' pain, while men often lack this selfless perspective taking. So, overall, women show more compassion, making maternal love more selfless than paternal. So, how do our female ancestors build alliances? Still grooming? Obviously not. Human communities dwarf monkey troops. If humans kept grooming, they'd spend all day on it with zero time for anything else. Example: in a 5-person group, I manage 4 relationships plus 6 pairs among others, 10 total. With 20 members, 19 relationships plus 171 pairs. At 150 people, 149 relationships plus 11,456 pairs. Maintaining 150 connections through grooming is impossible. That's why humans invented language to replace grooming. Language offers huge efficiency gains over grooming for building alliances. First off, language packs way more information, like which family member's shady, who's unreliable. Language can spit that out quick and direct. Plus, language lets one person talk to many in social settings, while grooming stuck one-on-one, but chatting, you can reach a crowd. Humans and chimps share 98.4% genetic similarity. That's why scientists call us and chimps sister species. Chimps max out at groups of 55. For humans, it's 150, about a 1 to 3 ratio. If anything, chimps bond with vocal help while grooming. But humans mix touch with language, same time spent, and our social efficiency triples chimps. So language beats grooming for socializing efficiency. Yeah, language is super efficient, but grooming feels amazing for monkeys. They get endorphins. It's like a natural high. But how does language replace grooming? Or in Dunbar's words, why'd language become grooming's cheap substitute? Language is tricky. It carries info, but you can't always trust if it's legit. The world's dangerous. People are shady. Figuring who to trust is a real headache. So how'd early humans pull it off? Simple answer. Gossip. Gossip packs juicy info. Who's hooking up? Who stole whose guy? Who's divorcing? This kind of gossip, guys dig it, gals love it even more. Funny thing is, gossiping puts us in a great mood. This effect, it's like monkeys grooming, pure bliss. I remember in high school, girls huddling during breaks, suddenly cracking up and covering their mouths, leaving us guys totally baffled. But really, they were bonding through swapping gossip. Besties, ride or die pals, all forged through gossip. If they didn't gossip together, they wouldn't call each other best friends. And hey, it's not just women. Guys gossip too, swapping opinions about women in their lives. Um, Stats show even serious professors mostly gossip during meals, not discuss academics, applies to two-thirds of folks, men and women alike. So starting today, change your mindset. Don't think gossiping all afternoon or evening wastes time. Nope, you're actually building alliances and deepening connections. Plus, you're totally enjoying it. If you hit trouble later, your gossip pals will likely help out, and you'll warn them about dangers so they're prepared. Clearly, gossips stayed crucial through hundreds of thousands of years of human evolution. Gossip's core purpose hasn't changed. It's about forming alliances for survival. To recap, language evolved for gossip, gossip fuels alliances, and alliances give us survival advantages against unseen risks. All right, third question. How does Dunbar's number silently shape your work and life? Compared to ancient times, humanity's transformed dramatically, building a 7 billion person global village, creating the internet, and more. So the question, in this modern age, can Dunbar's number still explain and guide our world? Answer, absolutely yes. Earlier we mentioned military companies, the smallest combat units, cover around 150 soldiers. WeChat's Zhang Xiaolan worried about oversized teams, citing Dunbar's number exceeding 150 forces added management layers. As organizations bloat, employee reporting lines multiply. This makes people less familiar, naturally hiking communication costs. Unfamiliarity breeds stiffness. People hold back jokes and gossip. This ends up reducing the odds of brilliant ideas emerging. Remember, many iconic, exciting ideas spark accidentally during casual gossip chats. That's why companies put coffee bars near offices, not just for drinks, but for casual chats where great ideas might spark. In grooming, a TV crew of exactly 150 people worked efficiently until moving offices ruined their flow. Employee interviews revealed the old office had a small lunch nook they'd use daily. When designing the new space, the architect deemed the nook unnecessary and scrapped it. Result? Plummeting productivity. So those water cooler chats and copy machine gossip, vital but invisible social glue. We've covered Dunbar's number's impact on organizations, but it also explains why we feel so lonely and empty today. Here's how. Most of us live in cities, surrounded by strangers. We don't even recognize neighbors in elevators. Ancient villages, just 150 stable residents. That bred deep belonging, community, and family bonds. Moving from 150-person tribes to megacities didn't kill our craving for connection, it made it fiercer. The more people become homebodies not from antisocial urges, but from failing to find their tribe. Vast Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, yet barely any real friends. Like Mu Xing's poem, past days passed slower, carriages, letters slow, a lifetime just to love one soul. Today, people flood into cities, then leave, fragmenting our social webs. No chance for stable bonds or lasting trust. 2,000 WeChat contacts, yet no one for heartfelt talks. The cruelest distance, sitting together while you scroll your phone. Anti-inspirational sayings get popular because our close social circles fall far short of 150. Dunbar says that's why soap operas and reality shows blow up. They give us pleasure and satisfaction when watching. We know celebrities better than our next door neighbors. So when real connections are lacking, TV characters fill those empty slots in our under 150 social quota. To sum up, the rule of 150 still shapes us in hidden but profound ways today. For organizations to work, we need Dunbar's number and must make space for gossip. Our urban loneliness comes from leaving stable 150-person communities, losing that sense of belonging and family. So we use entertainment to patch our social gaps, trying to feel fulfilled. Dunbar's number has wildly diverse impacts on human evolution. Finally, let's explore how it shaped language evolution, or bluntly, how Dunbar's number splintered human language. Now our fourth question. Why no dialects without Dunbar's number? 60,000 years ago, humans trekked from Africa across the world. Along the way, language transformed dramatically. Evidence suggests everyone spoke one language at humanity's dawn, but as humans spread, we fractured into 6,000 plus languages, each splitting into countless dialects. Why? Genesis 11 says prideful humans tried building a tower to reach God's house. This Tower of Babel, or heaven-reaching tower, prompted God, who, knowing their plan, made builders suddenly speak different tongues. Without shared language, cooperation collapsed. The tower failed, but languages spread. The biblical account is probably hard to verify scientifically. Dunbar believes human communities expanded beyond 150 through language differentiation for security. What does that mean? In ancient times, a stranger appearing in a village meant potential danger. But with people coming and going, how do you spot a stranger? Someone from out of town? Language is key. Different accents mean they're not local. For good things, it prevents free riding. For bad things, it stops others from kicking you when you're down. All languages develop dialects, evolving fast. One generation can create a new one. Joining a dialect-based community takes huge time, no quick membership card. Conversely, when people from the same area meet in cities, shared dialects spark instant warmth. Fellow villagers meeting brings tears to their eyes. Shared dialect means shared community, customs, culture, giving security and belonging. So, and Dunbar's number are deeply linked. You could say no Dunbar's number, no dialects. In short, grooming shows language and gossip are evolutionary survival tools. They replaced grooming to help us bond and find allies. But our neocortex caps real friends at 150, unchanged by tech or economic growth. Today's emptiness, lost faith, social media overload, all hide Dunbar's profound influence. But note, language and gossip aren't everything in human connection. Dunbar repeatedly notes physical touch, kissing, hugging, has irreplaceable functions beyond language. Physical touch triggers our body's natural opioids. Yep, those endorphins we mentioned earlier. But language can't do that. We've got to remember this lesson. That wraps up our dive into grooming, gossip, and the evolution of language. Reading notes are below the audio. See you tomorrow.